Hey there everyone, how are you today? I bet you are beautiful-tastic as always. Today I want to talk about the latest model from xppen, the Artist 15.6 Pro. I'm going to talk about the core features of course, but I will not go too deep into the super mini technical boring numbers. Now don't worry, I will mention some technical stuff, but I promise I will try to do it as user-friendly as possible. Now a couple of things I need to be clear about before we begin. Number 1, this video is not sponsored. xppen asked me if I want to try this product on my intensive animation workflow, and I accepted the challenge. Just like my other reviews, I'm going to share my honest opinions about this product based on my experience. Number 2, if it's the first time you're watching my videos, I am not a reviewer, I'm not trying to be one. I am a pro user. I am a professional animator, and everything you see on my channel I do on my spare time. Now, the main idea of this video is more than just a typical tech review who's trying to bend the product or hit it with a hammer or something. To be honest, I don't get it. Are you going to war with it? Anyway, the idea is to test if it's good enough to handle studio production like a pro, since frame-by-frame animation is the most intensive work you can do on a graphic drawing display compared to any other workflow. In other words, if the product can handle 2D animation environment project, it can handle anything else. So I pushed the limits of this product without throwing a block on it or something like that, and I'm going to share with you my experience for the last 3 weeks. Hopefully, this video will help you decide if you should or shouldn't invest your money on this product or maybe consider a different one. This is the Artist 15.6 Pro, the latest model from xppen. Now let's see what's in the box. As you can see, the new box is very clean and organized, and you can pull out every device one by one easily. Also, the box is smaller and thinner compared to the last Artist 15.6. Now that's a smart packaging. We get different adapter options for almost any country you can think of, and that's great for traveling. Now the cables are all in one. You get HDMI connection, 2 USB connections, and 1 USB Type-C. I'll talk about the different USB later. Also, you get a USB extension just in case. Now we get the usual things to clean your screen, all the papers, warranty, the glove, and of course the manuals. The next thing is the case of the pen, which I really like, and it's divided to few parts. Now let me show you. The pen supports 8192 levels of pressure. No need to recharge, it's battery free. And the new feature is the 60 degrees tilt support. Now I prefer my pens a little bit heavier, but don't get me wrong, the pen feels premium, the buttons and everything in it feels really good. You get 8 extra nibs, and all you need to do is to put the pen in the center in angle and pull it out. That's how you replace a nib, and that's it. Easy peasy. The AC41 model of the stand is very simple, you have one angle and it's very stable. The screen is only 11mm thin, that's insane, and it's not too light or too heavy, it's perfect. Now before I continue with the specs and the features, I want to show you a quick setup that how I installed everything from scratch. In my case I need USB hub, but you don't need more than one available. First we connect the HDMI from the all-in-one cable. Now I'm using the black USB because it will drive the power from the laptop, and I believe that the labels were opposite in my case. The last one is the USB Type-C, and we're ready to go. The last thing is to peel off the screen protection nylon thingy, and as you can see, we already see the difference between the very glossy to the matte. Okay, power glove, let's go! It's very hard to see, but the screen is full laminated unlike the other models. It's IPS display, and the active part of the screen is 15.6 inch. The resolution of the screen is 1080p Full HD. There is higher color coverage up to 88 NTSC and 120 sRGB. As you noticed, I like to test the edges of the screen which stop exactly where they should. Also, I'm testing the pen latency, which is 200 RPS, and it's amazing. As you can see on the screen, it's almost real time. The next thing is to download and install the drivers. Now it's easy peasy, all you need to do is click install, you wait a little bit, done. With the drivers you get more control to change things and tweak it. For example, you can change the buttons of the pen or the monitor you control. Also you can change the sensitivity of the pen or calibrate the screen, and of course you can change the express keys, which is the main feature I really like about the drivers, because I like to change the express keys on a specific software. So for example, if I use Toon Boom Harmony, I like the buttons to do something, but if I use Photoshop or Krita, I want the buttons to do something else, and the drivers allow you to do it. Beside the 8 express keys, you can also tweak the red wheel and make it do whatever you need it to do, beside just zoom in or zoom out. Now, instead of using the red wheel for zoom in and zoom out by default, I customized it with the drivers, as I showed you before, to scrub forward and backwards on the timeline. As a frame-by-frame animator, this is a must, and I would say that this device is very animator friendly. The 8 express keys feels really good. No, they don't feel cheap. If you're wondering, I'm using them as much as possible. Unfortunately, they cannot cover all my hotkeys, but I'm using it a lot now. Another thing I'm curious about all the time is the lines. Now, unlike others, I don't do it too slow or too fast, I do it in natural speed. It could be fast, it could be slow, but it's combined together as I just sketching on a paper. And this is a real test of a line, in my opinion. This is how I do it all the time, and I can say that I am very impressed with the new model. I think it's the best one compared to any Wacom compatible so far. Okay, so I know that a lot of you are wondering about the parallax issue. And if you already watched my videos before, you know that for me, the parallax issue is not even an issue. Let me explain. The parallax is basically the space between the pen to the sign of the mouse. So it's the space between the glass to the actual screen, the pixels. So if the parallax is big enough, there will be a big gap between the tip of the pen to your actual brush in the software. Now that you understand what parallax is, let me explain why I'm saying it is not even an issue. Back in the days when I used the very first Wacom Cintiq and even the models before called Cintiq from Wacom, they had a really huge gap. The parallax was crazy and it was almost impossible to work with. Since then, people are keep talking about it, but the thing is that on the last 5 or 6 years, there is no such gap. It's very thin. The glasses brands are making, and I'm not talking about Wacom, but on almost any alternative I touched. It's so thin that you are not actually noticing. The reason people are talking about it because there is another thing to talk about. Just ignore that, and let me tell you how. It's very simple. After you're drawing for a few seconds, your brain is not even noticing that you are holding a pen. It will focus only on the brush itself, on the sign of the brush on the software. So if you're looking so hard for the parallax, it's everywhere. But if you ignore it and start being creative, it's nowhere. That's enough about brain science. Now let me share with you what I think about the Artist 15.6 Pro. First of all, the design is beautiful and it's slim, 11mm, that's crazy. You can fit it in your laptop bag and take it with you to any place you can think of. That's the first thing I really like about it. The 8 express keys and the red wheel are very useful, and I bet it will be useful not only for animators but for any creative workflow. The pen not only feels good when you grab it. The first time I noticed that the buttons of the pen are not popping out too much, so you won't press them by mistake. That's a great design, by the way. To be honest, I'm not using the tilt feature of the pen on the animation process, but I'm using it like crazy on the backgrounds and the effects. The tilt feature is not perfect, but it does the job and I used it all the time. I don't think I can not using it anymore. The overall experience I had on the last 3 weeks with the device was amazing. I had no issues from installation to drivers to using it to animate with it and to draw. As you can see on this review, I just did some drawings to show you the process. I had 0 issues and everything still works perfectly fine. Now I do have some suggestions for the xppen team. As I already asked for extra buttons last time, they actually added 2 more buttons. Now if you could do this extra idea, many people are gonna be extremely happy with the express keys. If you can put color coded on the buttons, maybe with LEDs, it will be insanely useful, because when we draw we don't remember which of the 8 black buttons to press. So if one of them will be red, for example, and red means undo, we can remember the red is undo, the blue is redo, and so on. If you can design that each express key will have a LED, and we can customize the color of the LED on the drivers, that will be crazy useful and amazing as well. Now, should you buy the Artist 15.6 Pro or should you avoid it? If you're traveling a lot or maybe you don't have enough space on your desktop, go purchase this device now. But if you're working on a desktop and you need a serious workstation, go check out my other reviews for the Artist 22 Pro and the Artist 22E Pro. They are almost the same, but the only difference is the express keys. And I highly recommend you to check them out because I'm still working with them all the time. The reason I'm not talking about the prices on my videos is because they keep changing. If it's a special sale, if it's holiday, the prices are changing all the time. So I put all the links on the description to anything you need on this video, also to the other reviews, so check them out and make sure that before you buy anything, click the link of the device, and beside watching the current price, I want you to check out all the details. Even that I talked about most of them, go check them out. It's very important that you know what you are investing your money in. I hope that this video helped some of you to decide if you will buy it or not. And if you still have questions, leave a comment, and if I can answer it, I will. Oh, and by the way, if you like insane, short, random cartoons, click on my channel. You may enjoy some of them. And if you will, I'll be happy if you'll consider to subscribe. In the meanwhile, see ya later, alligator. Boah.